I tell you, man, we've been to some tough ones, and this is right near the top. It is so
baby.
raw. Yeah, I sure do. Lovely daughter.
My 7-year-old first grader. I mean, that's why this one is so egregious to me. It's so devastating. It's so awful. And it generates so many different feelings. Of course, you have the shock and the outrage, but there's also a feeling of absolute disgust at this monster who would torture these children. Remember, Billy bursts into the room and he starts killing the children. And so they're the children who are alive and the children who are dead and the children who are dying, and he has this long rifle and he's right up to the kids. He is almost the agent of the devil's apocalypse. I swear to God, it is something so banal. It is so absolutely raw and savage. It is a mini Holocaust.
I thought the statements by the medical examiner were perhaps the most chilling I have heard of all the chilling stories that we've experienced over the past day and a half. And you must be of that mindset in order to endure what that man has endured over the past day and a half. Some of these kids were shot 11 times. He was asked where were they shot. He said everywhere.
You start to think, what could possibly have been the motive? What could possibly have created the rage for you to commit that kind of obscene violence against these children? To dress in combat gear and arm yourself with combat-style weapons, and then go and not take on an enemy, defending your country, but to pick on the most vulnerable, innocent children, children who have probably never been exposed to anything evil before, never had an adult treat them with anything other than love and affection, and suddenly here is this man dressed in this costume, styling himself as a kind of warrior against what? Against children, against the most vulnerable people in our society. It is something, Bill, that deeply sickens me. And every one of those children, when you think, what could have been going on behind those bangs? What is it in this person that he could do this to these children? It's just something, I tell you, we've been around. I've known you for years. And this is something that is absolutely gut-wrenching. I mean, it brings you to tears. You want to vomit. It's just a terrible, terrible situation.
I mentioned earlier that so many people have told me over the past day and a half, they turn on the TV and they stare at it and they leave it on for hours and they sit there in tears crying over this enormous loss. And as a father, you think of your 7-year-old daughter.
You can't not. You can't not. I mean, I look at you now. I mean, we try to maintain our composure. We're professionals. We've been around. I'm a war correspondent. I've seen atrocity in Iraq and Afghanistan and Somalia and every place else. Nothing like this. This is, look at the victims, how selective he was in picking first graders, 6 years old, 7 years old. I mean, is there any wonder the president was moved to tears? The nation is in tears. The world, the Pope. It is so unfathomable. What could have happened to this person that he would in any way feel that he was justified to commit this obscenity? This will go down, and maybe was it to be in history, to be a day that will live in infamy, to make of this beautiful New England community a place of horror and fear for these children? And I swear it is the nation's nightmare, Bill, to think of the lives they led from the moment he burst into their classroom until he ended their lives. What could those children have been thinking? You think about that, and you just want to take his remains and strew them and throw them to the wind so they're not buried anywhere, because if you put them on the ground, they would burn the ground. It's so evil, so banal.
You know, this has happened in Breslan in southern Russia, and this has happened in Norway on that island about a year ago, and now it's happened here. And we've had school shootings before, but never hitting a 6-year-old child 11 times with a rifle.
Look how Columbine scarred us and changed the way schools are guarded and run. And those were teenagers, and God help us, it was horrible. now you take it down to first graders. I picture because I ran uptown to see my daughter as soon as it happened. You picture the little children in their little outfits and their lunches, and they think, what are they thinking about? They're thinking about play dates and Legos and dolls and Christmas.
And they're thinking about Santa Claus, and he was going to be here in 10 days.
Imagine what will Christmas be in Newtown, Connecticut from this Christmas on? What will it always be this memory? It is just something that is just it's difficult to report in a sober, somber way, because it is so emotional. It's difficult not to be impassioned, and it's difficult not to be absolutely just overcome with grief and sorrow.
We're going to see you tonight, okay?
I'll see you.
All right, hang in there, hang tough.
Yeah,
okay?
You too. Do a great job. Thank you.
10 o'clock?
I'll be there.